Hi, welcome to Ms. Cooper's art class. Today's video is about the basics of drawing with a ballpoint pen. Now what I'm using for this video today is a Papermate Ink Joy, but really any of them work, even the cheap ones. The key is to clean it, so I just pointed at the tip. After a while it gets this kind of buildup and gunk on the end, so I twist it and kind of blot it off on another part of my paper that I'm not drawing on, so I don't get little splotches when I'm trying to create my smooth shading. Now this video focuses on smooth shading, which involves a lot of gentle pressure in lines that are right next to each other. If you want to try cross-hatching, that works out great, but this video isn't about cross-hatching, although it's a really great skill to know. So I'm going to label both of them for you. So to create the smooth shading, you'll notice that the lines are all placed right next to each other. You can see me using gentle pressure, because if you use gentle pressure, you can slowly build up your value. After I kind of create those middle values and transition to a light value, I then add the dark values and I can grow from there. A lot of times when you draw, you go only from light to dark, but I find with ballpoint pen, it helps to mark out the dark areas for the way I think. Feel free to experiment for what works for you. This is just what works for me. Sometimes people will try to kind of smudge it like I did with my finger there. That's an option. I just don't choose to do it because I tend to overdo it if I smear, and then my drawing turns into a rain cloud. So you can see me cleaning off to the side, and you can even see at that A, it got a little splotchy because I hadn't finished cleaning it. So I'm speeding this part up. Basically, you can see how I lay it down. I start with kind of some medium values, mark out my dark area where it's super duper dark at the end of my value scale by laying the lines right next to each other. And you can see I've been going the same direction this whole time and laying the lines out very carefully right next to each other. If I get gaps, I can still fill those in, but you make your life a lot easier by just taking the time to do it neatly in the first place. If you're wondering how long this took, this is sped up to twice the speed it was at before, in case you're wondering how long this takes. So it did not take long at all because I was very careful and I don't have to go back in and fill in a bunch of areas. This is the only time in the video when I really went a different direction just to fill in a couple areas. It was going to help to go on a diagonal. Feel free to experiment with that. This is just what works for me. So you can see I laid out a light value, and now I'm kind of meeting in the middle between the dark and the light areas. I like to mark things out instead of just doing light to dark. So to remind you how that process went, I started with some middle, added my dark, added some light, and then met in the middle. I'm showing on half of this value scale what it looks like to add another color of pen as well. You'll notice that when I add the other color, I fully overlap the red over the black to tone it a little bit more and make my drawing look more complete. I'm being very careful not to leave white spaces in the red to black area, otherwise that transition starts to not look very smooth. And again, being very careful to keep my lines right next to each other, but slowly kind of decrease the pressure, cleaning the pen the whole time so I don't get little blotches of red that I can't remove from my drawing. Anyway, with that, I'll just leave you with some basics, more videos to come. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this, subscribe for more or give it a like. Those are always appreciated. Thank you so much. Happy drawing.